There it is, the sound of the bell. Spiritual attention, please. Is your heart open? I'm Reverend Sue in service today. I'll be available after the service for any prayer support along with Charlie. So if anything our guest speaker brings up for you today, whether it be a stirring of something very joyful and profound, we're here to support that. Or if it's something that you want some encouragement forward as well, we are here to support. I'm going to invite our Dalton here to open our hearts a little bit more. Before you start, just a moment. Is the gentleman back there, are you having trouble hearing? You want to come forward? There's a seat up here. Sorry, Dalton, I know you were just like ready to go, but... So while he's making his way forward to these seats right up in the front here, I wanted to share also that I appreciate the people here today in support of the service. Our bookstore is open. We have Cheryl there to help you with your purchases right after the service. We have a workshop starting close to noon. We might start earlier if that's the general consensus. And we are coming forward. These are those sweet moments of, who am I here? Who am I here? And hopefully this will be a good place where the hearing is a little bit more receptive. So why don't you go ahead and begin then, Dalton?
This is my take on an old hymn for you guys, so just breathe this in with me. Have thine own way, Lord. Have thine own way. Thou art the potter, I am the clay. Mold me and make me after thy will, while I am waiting, yielded and still. Have thine own way, Lord, have thine own way. Seek me and find me, Spirit, today. Guide me within, Lord, right here and now, as in thy presence humbly I bow. Have thine own way, Lord, have thine own way. Hold over my being, absolute sway. Fill with thy spirit, till all may see Christ, Krishna, Buddha, living in me. Oh, have thine own way, Lord, have thine own way. Thou art the potter, So mold me and make me after thy will, while I am waiting, yielded and still.
Such a beautiful voice. It just really allows my heart to open. Thank you all for being here today. This is a wonderful day to start June off with. We know it's birthday. We celebrate birthdays today for June. So I want those of you that are birthday June people to stand up and kind of own the space. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. We can't really sing out to you, but can you feel the love? Can you feel the love? Yeah, happy birthday. Have a wonderful month celebrating. It's no longer birthday, it's birthday month, birth month. So yeah, get all the attention, all the presents, all the free lunches, breakfasts, dinners, whatever comes your way. It's all for you. We're going to take a moment to say hello to our friends at home. All around the country. And so look your best, fix your hair, and look at your teeth, and here it goes. Hello, hello, friends at home. Hello, hello, Lori in the office. I know she's there. Yeah, way. I always like that part. I just come on Sundays for that part. Just that connection, community. So, I want to remind you to turn your cell phones off so they don't interrupt the service. If you maybe have forgotten to do that, now's the time. And is there anyone new visiting with us for the first time today? You get to meet him in a moment, and we'll give you one of our packets. That's what we do here. We're pretty generous, but welcome. I'm going to briefly touch upon some June announcements here. I know you guys you couldn't wait for this, but it is next Saturday, Save a Day. I know, hold your seat. Save a Day. And I guarantee if you went to what I found yesterday when I went into the social hall to open some windows when we were doing our workshop to bring some fresh air in. Spider webs, dead bees. It was really sad, but it was like a whole graveyard of dead bugs. And so that could be done. And then Charlie and I are opening these doors each Sunday, and spider webs, we have to reach our hands in there. So I'm going to tackle these doors and windows, and I'm going to show those spiders where they're supposed to live out in nature. But there's a lot. What Save is a chance for you to come together and help us to spruce the center up. We're getting ready to do more opening as the regulations start to allow us that opportunity. So we want the place to shine, and we're also preparing for the children to return, our little faces of God. So I know the children. So next Saturday at 8:30, there'll be a list of things to do, and you can find what you want and stay with us till about noon, that's all. And it's just a wonderful time to work together. We have the workshop that I spoke of, Blue Collar Spirituality, Finding a God That Works, by Reverend Michale McMorrow. You're going to enjoy his message today as he shares his heart and way with us. He comes from Granada Hills. He's the senior minister at their center there, and he'll share more about himself. But if you want to come to the workshop, it's going to begin, like I said, around noon, and we can maybe start a little earlier if everybody that wants to attend is here. But if you're at home, you have time to get down here. And let's see, Writing as a Spiritual Practice is Dr. Mary's class that will begin June 17th, and that starts at 1 o'clock, and it's a 6-week course on writing down your soul. I'm looking forward to the summer solstice barbecue and drum jam. Now, when we mentioned this idea of a barbecue, it's very safe. You're going to have, because they're still not allowed to serve food, but everything's going to be pre-done for you. And you just come by and pick up your little beautiful plate of freshly made salads and your hamburger, and there is vegetarian entrees as well. So it's going to be a safe meal that we can share together outside. And then following that, because it's right on the summer solstice, we're going to have a drum jam. It'll be so cool. We're going to be just the coolest place in Reading. And some great drummers are coming forward for that. And I just want you to bring a drum, bring your hands. You can clap as well. That is a drum beat. You can just beat with your own heart, tap your own chest, whatever it is. But bring your soul and enjoy as we move forward, continuing to heal in the community from COVID. Fun and food. And I think that covers our, well, you can talk a little bit more about your workshop if you would. I'll give you some airtime. Also, just so you know, Lori and I worked on, and she mastered it, of finding a way that if you look online, you can sign up for classes. So next time you're browsing and you think, hey, I want to do that, you just hit the button and then you're connected. Isn't that awesome? We finally did it. We're in this century. That's that. We're going to have a reading, and I'll invite Craig Boyer up to share with us his reading, and then we'll invite the bell and do a prayer. Hello, Craig.
Hi. From The Science of Mind, page 386, Earnest Holmes says, "This I saw, or else some inner presence made it known to me. This universe is filled with life, the air and the sky, the sea. They all teem with intelligence, with majesty and might. And deep within me, some subtle inner sight beholds, sees, and comprehends and knows the all. And it neither fears nor falters, but it answers the divine call to be beyond the bounds of time and space, to overcome the bondage of the human race, and leap with trust undaunted free into the infinite sea, whose waters are calm and are ready to receive those who in simple faith believe." And in the words of Liania Van Zandt in One Day My Soul Just Opened Up, it says, "Call forth the divine within, not so that you can get something, rather so that you can realize something."
I smile into this moment, recognizing the journey each one of us are on, and I celebrate that our Judy is back at the piano keys, dancing our way back into our heart space, leading us into prayer with her gift. I give thanks for this in the very beginning of this prayer, knowing that in our oneness we continue to celebrate how each and every one of us evolves, knowing that there are moments in our experience where we are pushed by pain. We are pushed at times by moments of confusion or doubt, but it's leading us to a faith, to a truth, to a confidence, to a trust, that there is a good unfolding always. And when we allow that to be the background of our heart and our thinking, we allow life to unfold with greater ease as we support one another along in this journey of life. So I give thanks for the gathering today, for the community, for the fellowship, for the friendship, for the way we can be together and stay strong and stay healthy. So many moments to feel grateful for as our soul opens up to what is. So thank you, God, for a blessed community, for a beloved community, for your divine wisdom, and for helping us always, always find our way. I release these words in gratitude, knowing it's already so. And together we say, and so it is. Yay, Judy. Let's hear a little clap so her her brand new knee. We're breathing, we're breathing. You're going around the precipice, we're breathing. Oh, Reverend Michale McMorrow from Granada Hills, will you come join us and share your way? Thank you for coming all this way.
Thank you. I was over there enjoying the service and forgot I actually came here to do something today. So it's my delight to be with you, and good morning. And it's wonderful to be up here in beautiful CSL Redding, and to be up here in Northern California. I'm actually an alumni of Sierra College down in Rockland, so I am familiar with the area. And that was not yesterday. But it is nice to be, I am from Granada Hills, so for those of you who have worked by landmarks, it's in the San Fernando Valley on the 405 freeway. If you know where the Budweiser plant is, it's about 5 miles east of there and across the street from O'Grady's Pub. So that's where we're at in Granada Hills, but I'm delighted to be here, delighted to be on the grounds. The photographs really do not do the place justice. It's beautiful. And I really want to thank Reverend Sue and Dr. Mary, of course, for inviting me up to share my book and to share my story and to share this morning with you. And I can tell you that the Redding community and your minister are held in high regard throughout the organization of Centers for Spiritual Living, because I also serve on the finance committee for CSL. So if you have any complaints about that, see Reverend Sue. But I also serve as the regional support coordinator down in the northern section of Southern California. So to see people in church is pretty wonderful. I had to come hundreds and hundreds of miles to speak to real people, because I've been speaking to a camera now since March 16th of last year. And but just before I move off of how highly thought of your community is, going back to Dr. James and Andrea and Bob Lucken and I are good friends, and so in the years, the Asilomar years, and you always knew that when the minister from Redding got up, there was going to be something wonderful happening. So it's really great to be here and to be with all of you. And I listened to Reverend Andy last week too. He was dynamite. He and I are from the same class. So all of that to say, it's just really great to be here. Yeah. And so I'm speaking to as many centers throughout Centers for Spiritual Living that we too in Granada Hills, like you, are speaking to the Centers for Spiritual Living Global Vision. And so for this month of June, the theme is the soul's call. The soul's call. So I think we're going to get deep this month, right? And so today's talk title then is Pushed by Pain. Yeah, so, and isn't it appropriate? Pushed by pain as we are emerging. Some of us are having to get pushed out of our houses, right? It's so after having spent this last year and a half dealing with this pandemic, and at a time when we've all really had to step up and be willing to step back from our ordinary ways of living to protect our most vulnerable, right? In ways that we haven't wanted to do, but were necessary, and we did it anyway. So that our most vulnerable could be safe, and that those who care for them could do their work to help keep them safe and get them on the other side of this thing so that we could all come back together. We have a new appreciation for the working people among us who've done those jobs that many of us may have done when we were younger, but it certainly wasn't a career path. Delivering, we did that computer grocery delivering. I mean, the virus in Southern California was crazy, right? So we've had food delivered and all that, and to be grateful to have that option, right? And to hate Zoom, and then to grow to appreciate it, and then grow to hate it again, right? And so I have a lot of practitioners and staff ministers, and we were able to keep our Sangha together because our staff minister, who's put this group of women together on Wednesday mornings when we thought no one would come do anything on a morning class. And these women have been really holding the high watch for each other and for our center through my tenure of 10, 11 years down there. So we've come to appreciate many things, including spiritual community. I think many people have taken spiritual community for granted, that this place, that it will always be there, right? And I have watched, and I'm sure many of you have watched, people just kind of wander away and you'll run into them at the grocery store, right? And, it just kind of happens. They just kind of got out of the habit of it. So I think that we all need to be prepared for a spiritual surge as people are going to kind of wake up and go, oh, maybe I'll go to church tomorrow. Maybe I will go to be in spiritual community. Maybe I'm going to allow myself to extend myself to someone else, to share the gift of friendship and love, and in our denomination, to know the truth for someone who needs it. That's what spiritual community is. So we've had this time. Collectively, it's cost us a lot. And it's going to take a lot of time, talent, and treasure for us to get out from under this. It's going to take some time to get it all sorted out before we are able to get back to normal, whatever that even was, before this all hit. Now, I know I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, because as individuals, there's been a lot of loss as well. Our kids have lost a year of their childhood, of going to school, of learning to connect with each other, learning how to play well with others, or even sports or scouting or some of the other things that they do. Our parents have had to figure out how to sort all that out, how to juggle, how to work, and how to take care of the kids, and how to do Zoom. Our teachers, I don't know about what's been going on up here, but our teachers down south have had to do all this stuff on the fly. And it's been an amazing undertaking. And parents, I think, really have been the ones who have had to figure out how to stitch this whole thing together. And for those who have extended families, and those of you who are part of an extended family, that's helped pull this thing together, and you've pulled your weight through this, good for you. So many people have struggled to hold this thing together, and some have died. Some have died. Now, I'm grateful that in my community, we haven't lost anyone directly to the virus, but one ring removed from our immediate community, there has been loss. One family lost 6 people last year, 4 to the virus and 2 to natural causes in one family. And you can't go there. You can't be with them as a minister, right? It's been difficult. I lost my own, I knew I shouldn't have put this part in. Anyway, we lost my mom last July. And so now in August, finally, we're going to be able, I have a bunch of brothers. I have 5 brothers and a sister and a shitload of, whoops, a bunch of nieces and nephews. That was the other thing I said I wasn't going to do. And so we put it off until August to be able to get together finally. But we're not going to be able to take her cremated remains home to Ireland until next year. So, I mean, this is a quality problem, I suppose. But, there's pain attached to it. And I know each one of you have your own thing going on. And then all of this is happening in the backdrop of one of the most contentious times, certainly in my lifetime and maybe since the Civil War. And I'm talking, of course, about Facebook. No, but it certainly had a part, right? So there's a lot of pain out there right now, and we're not out of the woods yet. And we do have tools. We have tools available to us as we emerge out of this thing. Because what we know as religious scientists is what's being revealed is being revealed to be healed. What's being revealed is being revealed to be healed. So the pendulum is swinging, isn't it? As it has throughout our lifetime. Right? I mean, for those of us who came of age within the Vietnam era, right? And then it's just kind of swung back and forth. And now it's going to find its way to center. And places like this and people like you and me are going to be the ones to help new folks find that center within themselves. Because if we don't learn how to speak with each other about difficult things, we're doomed. Because what we know is that there is a new way and that we can have a new thought. Imagine a new thought. A new tendency of thought that raises the vibration of what we're currently thinking to something that raises not only our own life, but the lives of those around us as well. And so that every prayer, every treatment, every meditation that you engage in, whatever your judgment around that is, counts. It counts. Because there's an active participation in a consciousness that is larger than we are, in which we are thinking into and thinking with and demonstrating as. And it's important work for us to stay with. So we have these tools. We have our connection with the Spirit. We have our teaching. We have spiritual mind treatment. We have ministers and practitioners. Practitioners, I don't know about your group, the most underutilized resource in our spiritual communities are the practitioners. Believe me, you will make their day if you call them. Even if it's, I want more good. I just want to keep the wheel turning, man. Or if you're struggling, if you're at home and struggling, call a practitioner. You are not alone. If you're a brand new person online watching right now, there is plenty of room for you here, even socially distanced. If you need help, there's a practitioner available to walk, not to advise you, not to do anything except to walk with you in the discovery of your own path. We have the Spirit, we have our teaching, we have spiritual mind treatment, and we have each other. We have each other. I want you all to look around right now. Some of them you'll recognize even with their masks on. And see the love in their eyes and the high regard. Yeah. It's in times like these that all of the work that we have put in through our spiritual lifetimes, this is all the work that we've put in, this is when it comes to bear fruit. All the time that you've put into your spiritual practice, all the prayers, all the time, if you're a character like me, spent trying to open up your heart and be okay and not feel like a girly man while you're doing it. And all the time that we've put into our spiritual community, including these beautiful grounds, but a building is not the church. You are, and you online are. So if you are new today, I know there's no one new here today, or at least you didn't raise your hand. Or if you're new on the live stream, just know that there are people here for you and that we are here for each other, yes? So let me hear you say, I am here for you.
I am here for you.
One more time like you mean it. I am
Here for you.
All right, now let's turn and face the camera and say it to whoever's watching online and say, I am here for you.
I am here for you.
Now, doesn't that feel good? You feel the energy in it, yeah? Because there is something that we all share in life, and that is pain. And our ability to be resilient in the face of pain. We have built resilience. Now, for me, that means through the teachings of religious science, I have become more resilient in life, in my mind, and in my heart, and also in my body. But you know, pain is not necessarily bad because it gets our attention. It tells us that something needs to change, whether it's a pain in the shoulder or a pain somewhere else. Something needs to change. Something needs to evolve, to shift, because shift happens. Earnest Holmes reminds us that there is a question that naturally arises, though, in this thing called life. And various thinkers have tried to address it, and that is, why all the suffering, the sorrow, the pain? Why has tragedy accompanied the journey of man? And he says, there is no other way through which true individuality can evolve. Right? So if you think about Homo sapiens emerging out of Africa and all of the apes that we have, the ones who are content to hang out in the jungle and eat leaves or whatever they do, they're still there. Something drove the creative impulse of life, probably drought, whatever it was, and drove them. There's more land available. Go west, young ape. There's a divine impulse that has pain part that pushes us. That pushes us, just like we have to give our kids the boot out of the nest, which used to be at 17 and now is like 37. But it's okay at some time. Yeah. When you can snap the pebble from my hand, you may leave. Take it. Man must be left alone to discover himself, else be compelled arbitrarily to follow one road, in which case he would be an automaton, a robot, and not an individual. Well, we are individuals. That's a beautiful thing. The multiplicity of life, the multiplicity of humanity, as one human family with all these weird constructs that we have figured out on how to separate each other and keep each other from working together. That stuff needs to stop. Through recognition and respect. and a commitment to change together. When our life is not working the way we would like, pain invites us to revisit our purpose and consciously redirect our path. Now, I can see that someone has been busy with Buddhist stuff around here for a while, so this is nothing new to you, right? He worked this stuff out 2,500 years ago. And the great challenge, of course, has been how to deal with it. And so he sat under a tree after, trying to starve himself to death for a few years. He sat under a tree till he got it right. Oh, suffering. Actually, the poet Jane Hirschfield says dissatisfaction is a better word. So those of us who are comfortable, maybe we're not suffering, but certainly we feel dissatisfaction. Because as a rule, I'm a fool. When it's hot, I want it cool. When it's cool, I want it hot. Never wanting what I got. This is the human condition. And so we either cling to things, afraid we're going to lose them, or we run away from them, doing the Heisman on things we don't want to do or are afraid of. But there is a way out. From the Buddhist perspective, of course, the Eightfold Path, of which one of the ideas is right thinking. Right thinking. So this, for Earnest Holmes, has been the component that had been missing, yeah? And in this guy was also missing until I found religious science. We'll be speaking to that a little bit in the workshop. Because here's the thing, Earnest Holmes wrote in our textbook, we have within us a power that can overcome every obstacle in our experience and set us safe, satisfied and at peace, healed and prosperous in a new light, in a new life. That was the great promise when I came here, and I did the work. If we do the work, we can have a new life. Right? If we do the work, we can remodel our house. Whether it's we're, working in the office to pay the contractor or we're doing it ourselves. Right? But it all happens one action at a time. And that we also understand, as Holmes said, that every problem is primarily mental. And the answers to our problems are found in spiritual realizations. Now, the Buddha didn't really speak to spiritual realizations per se. He left that up to the individual person's experience. Because, like Holmes, he said, try it out. Here's the teaching. Do with it what you will. Now, of course, Holmes, being a Western guy, he's wired with an American mind, can-do attitude. We're going to fix it. We're going to use the spiritual mind treatment to fix this flat tire, right? And then AAA comes trotting along, or whatever, to fix things, right? To do what, though? To have the spiritual realization that it's all one thing, expressing in the multiplicity of ways, yeah? And when we live from that place, the suffering goes down. Pain may still be there, right? But something changes, and we're okay. We have to get our thinking right about our connection to and our relationship with first cause, higher power, Holy Spirit, Buddha consciousness, Christ consciousness, the divine impulse, however name you need, man. This is like an all-comers meet, right? We just have to show up for the race. The soul calls, and we are at choice. We can be pushed by pain, yes, but we can also be pulled by vision. Yes? Which one sounds better? Or I should say more pleasant, right? But that doesn't mean the vision doesn't have some pain in it. There may be some letting go of old stuff to have a new experience, yeah? So to be pushed by pain, yeah, and we all have plenty of experience with that. But to be pulled by vision, a vision of life that we have been considering now for over a year and a half. So the question is, are you now ready to implement that? That's really what the workshop is about. I had no idea how I was going to do a book into a workshop. But then I realized, wait a minute, nobody's been to a workshop in a year and a half. This should be easy, McMorrow. All right, so if you've had this seed, this divine itch that's is longing to be scratched, each one of us has one within us right now. And it can be it could very well be that you can't scratch it by yourself. You know, when you can't reach that one itch. Sometimes you can't quite reach it on your own. And that's what spiritual community is for. Right? To help identify and scratch that spiritual itch. Right? You scratch mine, I'll scratch yours, and we grow together and we all benefit. Yeah? So if you're new online, come here and get your itch scratched. Here at Centers for Spiritual Living in Redding, California. All right, so let's pray. Let's take a deep breath. Breathe with me. Just release. And in that release, here and online, just recognize and know that in that breath, we're following that breath right now. And in this moment then, through the breath, we are one people. As we recognize and know together that there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life, one living intelligence, the divine impulse of the living Spirit within each and every one of us, and everyone else too, that we are connecting with this divine impulse, each within our own understanding and unfolding. And invite it now. Invite the divine download of love and creative and dynamic ideas now to propel my life and the lives of those around me into ways of being where the living Spirit can freely express itself. I now step into the courage of speaking my truth in authentic ways, free of agenda, where my care and concern is one driven by compassion, empathy, and loving kindness. That I know for myself and for my spiritual community that something beautiful is going on here. And so I open my heart in the deep inspiration of the divine invitation of allowing those new faces, that new energy, that new idea, that divine impulse, that divine itch that is within me, that I allow it to come forth. So knowing that, well, let's just take a deep breath on that and release. And in that release, know that we are releasing it to that aspect of the mind of the divine itself, acting as perfect love as the law of its own being that knows only to say yes. Yes, my beloved, yes. In you, I am well pleased. And so in deep gratitude and confidence, we release it, knowing it is done, knowing it is so. And together, let's acknowledge that by saying, and so it is. Amen. Now what?
This is here, this is now, this is what it's all about. This is now, this is here, and it's very clear. I can feel my life from this point in time. I can see my path from this point in time, and I know the way is to make this moment shine here and now, to make this moment shine. This is here, this is now, this is what it's all about. This is now, this is here, and it's very clear. Oh, I can feel my life from this point in time. I can see my path from this point in time, and I know the way is to make this moment shine here and now, to make this moment shine. Oh, this is here, this is now, this is what it's all about. This is now, this is here, and it's very clear. I can see my life from this point in time. I can see my path from this point in time, and I know the way is to make this moment shine here and now, to make this moment shine. Here and now, to make this moment shine.
Thank you. You know, there's all those TV shows, and I always want to write in for America's Got Talent or Voice or any of those. I say, wait, don't vote yet. You haven't heard our man. You haven't heard our man. This is the book that Blue Collar Spirituality that Reverend Michael wrote, and Michael, you sat down, but you have good knees, right? Because you're a contractor. You can stand right back up. I wanted to have him read this. I know, all these steps. It's painful.
That's why I went into ministry.
Anyway, could you read your
Sure.
poem? I love this. This is what, go ahead.
Okay. So this is entitled, For Anyone Who Works Outside. Is there anybody here who's worked outside in their career? Yeah, so there's a handful of you, yeah. All right, on one cold January morning on Discovery Bay, frigid and icy, geese honking, stuck to the frozen pond, I consider revenge for yesterday's violation by the gander of 5. With drizzle softly falling, we scrape the ice from the concrete slab, preparing the chalk line snap, laying out a room for a life yet to be realized. The winds blow now, driving the drizzle now turned sleet down the back of my till now warm woolen neck. And still we scrape and snap, clearing the deck of yesterday's scrap and waste, making way for new walls, waiting to be nailed together, stood in place, plumbed, lined, and true. Now the north wind bearing down harder still, we surrender to the now sideways driven rain. We pick up our rain-soaked tools, roll up our cords, and take shelter in the truck, our refuge of warmth, thawing our soaked through jeans, and reaching under the seat, we take a long pull on the flask, saved just for this moment. Cursing in our clothes, steam rising now, sodden with the tempest just unleashed upon us. We start the truck, heading for home, turning from the gravel path onto Cape George Road, into the brilliant sunshine behind the storm. We realize we've just weathered a cold front passing through. We look at each other, beads of thawed water trickling off the end of our nose. And I think to myself, next winter, California.
I love that. I wanted you to be able to hear that if you can't join us at the workshop. But what a joy it has been to have you here and spend the time with us. And our offertory baskets, as always, we are still so appreciative of your gifts. They're at each exit, and Ronnie and Doug carefully will take that and put it in our safe as we count tomorrow. But thank you always for the generous gifts that have continued to support us through these beautiful days. I'm going to quit calling it hard days and start calling it beautiful days, because that's what we want to co-create. And with that, are you going to do another little ditty? I just like you to do ditties. There's only one life. Can you just kind of go bum, 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 bum? Something like that. I don't even have it here, though. As much as I've said it in my lifetime, I'll just redo his talk. Let's see. Okay. There's only one life. Oh, my God.
That life is God's life.
How pathetic. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Okay, let all of the Reading hear it now. Let Granada Hills hear. Yeah, there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Yay, God, and so it is. Yeah. Everyone have a beautiful day, and hopefully we'll see you here in just an hour's of time. Go get something to nourish yourself, and we will be here. Thank you.